What is going on, everybody? So, as you can see, this is Agatha all along series review. I know, it's been a minute. I got so busy between doing the live streams and the video game live streams. I didn't get the chance to put this out, but I'm putting it out now. So, series review. Um, I did say this the last time I did a review for this. I did say it that this show was basically going to be for the people who like the charm and Hocus Pocus, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Craft. It's like it really is geared towards that, and I'm going to double down on that now, having to watch all the episodes. This show is definitely geared for the people who like charm, both the OG series and the remake series, the Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Craft, pretty much anything Hocus Pocus, anything that got to do with witchcraft and stuff. If it's popular, I mean, and I mentioned those because those are like the popular shows, right? So anything in the mainstream that's popular that has to do with witches, that's gonna be who mainly enjoys this. Plus Marvel fans, especially if you're a completionist Marvel fan, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to watch it, but if you are a Marvel fan who is a completionist and you enjoy witch shows, you're going to love this. This is going to for others. It's going to take a hard, just a little bit of a hard time to get used to for others. But if you're just like a Marvel fan, you will enjoy this too because of the connections that they make and the fact that this show introduces major characters to the from the MCU. I mean, well, I said the MCU from the MC comics into the MCU. So let's start there since there's no hiding it because it was already spoiled. But for the record, um, if you don't know, the Funko Pops they spoiled who basically who Aubrey Blaze's the the Green Witch. They spoiled who she really was. I forgot what they was calling her character. She basically went by two comic book characters' names. Um, I wonder if they Rio, right? That's who she was. Where is she at? Yeah, Rio Vidal slash she is two different characters. I think Rio is a different character other than who she was. I think Rio Vidal is a different character in the comics than what Aubrey Blaze's character was. But for the MCU and Agatha all along, uh Aubrey Blaze plays Rio Vidal, aka Death. Yes. So those, like I said, the Funko Pops did spoil it. So that's why I'm able to say here because it's already well known, especially if you've seen the series or you're just seeing the clip on YouTube. Um, Basically, Albie Blaze will be the character or is the character Death. Now, the reason why that's a big revelation because Death, if you know from your comic book history, is the reason why Thanos attacked the Avengers, got the Infinity Gauntlet, and did all what he did in the comic book version because he wanted to impress Death, Lady Death, whatever she goes by. I think in the comics she went by so many different names. It was Death, Lady Death, all that type of stuff. But yes, Rio Vidal is Death, and the way how she ties it to this show is she is basically the ex-girlfriend of Agatha, and yes, there is some, I guess you could say, woke agenda. Not I won't even say it's woke agenda. They got is woke stuff in here, but it doesn't overpower. That's the surprising part. Like the woke stuff doesn't overpower the show like you would think it would, like how people was afraid it was. It don't overpower the show like that. It just sprinkle in there. You get it. You mostly get it with teen, who I'm gonna touch on in a minute. You mostly get it with teen. Well, actually, most of the woke stuff is with teen and Agatha, where it's just about Rio and Agatha, and then teen and his boyfriend. But other than that, it's like little to if any. Is other than that, that's like the big woke stuff, and then the minor woke stuff is like, what all people, all about the women and all that type of stuff. But it's really not like that. Like I said, it doesn't overpower the show. The story and the plot is the main center here. Now on to teen. So now we talked about Rio. We were because I want to get those out the way before I get into the series. Yes, Rio Vidal is deaf, and yes, teen is actually who everybody thought he was going to be, Billy Maximoff, aka one of the twin sons of Wanda Maximoff. So this is truly is a sequel to WandaVision, because we find out in this series, not going, it says now, yes, Billy is, teen is really Billy Maximoff. So basically this really is a sequel to, if anything, not only is it Agatha's story, it really is a sequel to WandaVision. And basically that's what all 9 episodes is. It not only explored the Agatha and her new coven going down the road, but it also explored Agatha's backstory and the revelations that her backstory had, and the revelation of her backstory and the stuff like that. Um, so yes, teen is Billy Maximoff. I won't tell you how, but there is an explanation in one of the episodes. I think it's episode 5 or 6 that explains how Billy is now a kid, went from a kid to like a teenager, and how all this, basically what happened to both brothers. Um, but if you want a hint, it does have something to do. It's a twist on how it happens in the comic books. So if you know your comic book lore with Billy and his brother, you know that it has to. In the comic book, it involves Mephisto, but it's a twist on how it happens here, and like I said, that's why I said it truly is a sequel to WandaVision, because that's a hint at another hint as to how this all happens. It does have something to do with WandaVision, or what happened in WandaVision that led to this happening. So yes, to get into it, we start off with Agatha, and basically you could say the majority of episode, all the episode 1. This show moves pretty fast. The show moves pretty fast, and that episode 1 is all of what we saw in the trailers, with her being still trapped in this whole the hex that Wanda left her in. But we quickly move from that to basically episode 2, where episode 1 we're introduced to Rio and the team, and then episode 2 basically picks up to where now Agatha is out and she's on the road. But I'm skimming some parts. I don't want to, if you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil it for you. But yes, Rio and Tina are introduced in the first episode, and one of them to help get her out of the hex. But what happens is, from episode 2 on, that's where we're introduced to the road and all the trials. We introduced to the coven. She forms the coven, and this is where on hindsight, when you think about it, hindsight looking back, this is how truly this show. This is where the true gem of the show is the story. The story now, when you look back, was starting right here. They put the pieces. They were starting to assemble the pieces like a puzzle together, and for you to figure out the real. And episode 1, I like the fact that episode 1 was actually for us. Even though we saw her as a detective, once she got out of that, we became the detective. Because then we started had to pick. We tried to pick the pieces together of who is Agatha, what is her true backstory, and throughout the episodes, we get hints of that. Maybe Agatha's backstory is not what it truly seems. Maybe what happened is because she's older than she pretty much older than anybody living on Earth. She's basically is she used her powers to stay immortal. Maybe history is askew, right? And that plays into Agatha's story. It is history what is what we know about her is true, or is it skewed because of just his centuries and millennia of stories that that passed down from people to people to people to the point where we don't know what the truth is anymore. And that's basically Agatha part in this show when exploring her backstory is that other than the story of her wanting to regain her powers on the road, her backstory is basically uncovering the truth of if her history is what it is or is it skewed. But along the way, we find out how most things are not everything in this show is not random. It all has a place. Especially Agatha's new coven. So we find that out throughout the episodes that Agatha's new coven is not just some random people she put together, but more so it's a reason why they was put together. And one of the witches, I won't tell you who, but if you watch the show or see some clips, you might have it figured out. But somebody has the ability to, let's say, see far into the future. And that's another thing too. I mentioned that because that's another plot point. That's a mini plot point. Is somebody's ability to see into the future, and how that affects the whole show in itself. And it also has something to do with Billy. But yeah, so you don't know Billy is Billy at first. The show don't tell you that until you, like I said, around episode 5 or 6, you get to that point. Um, but um it doesn't tell you that, but obviously you was waiting on it because of the Funko Pop leak that reveals that Tien is Billy and Rio is Death. But I love the fact that I didn't know that going into this, because when I saw the episodes that reveal Rio as Death and Teen as Billy, I was genuinely surprised, and my mind was blown because it was the execution of it all was perfect. Even though I kind of had a sense of who Teen could be. Like, I'm not gonna say I was completely, even without the leaks. I kind of figured Teen was like one of the brothers, but I had no clue that Aubrey Blaze's Rio Vidal was going to be revealed as Death. That that reveal was more shocking than Billy's reveal. Like Billy, I was still like the execution leading to Billy's reveal was like, oh yeah, that was cool. But the execution and reveal of Rio Vidal being Death, and that was awesome. That was like I think that's episode 7, and that's like the highlight of. I think that's episode 7 or no, yeah, it's episode 7, and that's like the highlight of the. That's like my favorite episode of this series is episode 7. Not and that's to say not saying all the episodes are bad, but the best all the episodes are good, but the best episode that gets like a 9 or a 10, and like that I can say it's like a 9 or a 10 is episode 7. That episode 7, the way how that was executed and everything, that I would get that episode by itself a 10. That was a perfect episode. But the series as a whole is good. The acting was good, the visuals was good, the practical, because they use a combination of CGI and practical, so everything was good. The revelation, the twisted turns was good. Um, there was nothing I could really say I didn't like about the show, because I could say uh a little bit of the wokeness, but the wokeness was I didn't it, other than the subtle hints to certain things. Yeah, it wasn't really noticeable to the point where I could say that was even a problem with the show. Um, I don't know. Maybe I could say it was fast paced, but for a 9 episode miniseries, you're expected to be fast paced. But that would be like the only thing I could say wrong that was wrong with the show, in my opinion, was that it was kind of like fast paced. The pacing was like you was just boom 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 boom, but it's a 9 episode miniseries. But the thing is a lot more. Is a lot of good, and like I said, the story, the twisted turns, like the twists and turns and tricks and trials, like that's really like all that song that they sing is awesome, by the way. But it's true. This show is like full of tricks and twists and turns that you wouldn't see coming. At least not until you get there. Like even with Agatha, like I will give you that there is a twist with Agatha. Not like I'm not talking about the show, but the actual character Agatha. There is a twist that won't be revealed until the final episode. Um, but you probably won't see it coming until you get to that episode. Uh, if you're really good at detecting stuff, you probably won't see it coming to episode pretty much episode 7 and 8. But for me, because I wasn't good at sniffing it out, because of the way how she acts, I wasn't expecting that at the I wasn't expecting that from Agatha. But then she's not the only person. The whole show has a big twist to it that's revealed in episode 8 and 9. So it's a bit twist it starts in episode 8 and is fully fleshed out in episode 9. So there's that. So to end this video, because I don't want to make it too long, then it already is. The series was good. I recommend it. If you're just a Marvel fan, give it a try because it connects to WandaVision. It connects to the MCU as a whole because it sets up a certain young team. There's a certain young team, if you get what I mean. The young team they're setting up because that's one of the characters they introduce in the show is one of the members of this young team. Um, well, two of them anyway. They basically sets up the show introduce you to one of the young members of the young team, setting up the other member, because he obviously is Billy Maximoff's brother, and then they set up a major villain in the MCU and in the comic books with Death. Okay, if you think about it, Death she's a villain. She's not she's kind of neutral, but she's been more of a villain than anything. So yeah, like I said, the acting was good, the visuals and practical effects was good. Nothing bad at all. Like I said, maybe the only thing I could pick out of it was the pacing, which is just fast paced, but that's what you get with a miniseries. But other than that, everything was good. Everything was good. This is not one of their down moments. This was not one of their. This was not one of Disney and Marvel's like, oh my god, I can't believe they put this out type show. No, this was actually good. This was actually good. This stays on par with how good WandaVision is, and now we get this is like the second part, and I think after this, the third in this trilogy is Vision Quest. But I would give this show a 9.5. I would give this a 9.5, almost a perfect 10. I almost give it a 10. I have no reason. The only reason why I won't give it a 10 because it just nothing's perfect. It was almost perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. It was nothing. It was not a 10. It was not a 10 out of 10 show, but it was a 9.5. So in my opinion, it's only 5 points off. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoy my review of this, you hit this button right here, if you can see my hand, for all of my reviews. And if you enjoy the video so much, you want to support the channel, you're gonna do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, do all those great things, and we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And thank you to the 100+ subscribers I gained. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the tribe. And there's more videos to come. So with that being said, peace. I'm out. See you in the next video.